Hey everybody, it's Ron from Pick Dawgz, and this is Ron's Rundown. We're going to go over the MLB games scheduled for Sunday, August 21st, 2022. Now, if you like what you see, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to put your baseball picks in the comments section below. Now, if you're looking for my MLB best bets, you can find those at the Premium Picks tab at pickdawgz.com. Of course, I'm always running my $15 MLB best bet, so you can check that out at Pick Dawgz Premium. And don't forget, use the code AUG15, that's AUG15, to save 15% at checkout. Alrighty, here we go. Here are the games for Sunday, August 21st. First up, we see the Chicago White Sox taking on the Cleveland Guardians. We're going to see Dylan Cease and Mr. Aaron Civale as your projected starters. Now, the streak for Dylan Cease of allowing one or fewer earned runs in a start going back to May 24th is over. He did give up 3 earned against the Astros last time out. It wasn't his best start. He only went 5 innings, giving up those 3 with a home run and 3 walks as well. But I do think he's still one of the better pitchers in the American League right now. I do think he has a nice bounce-back start in this one against the Cleveland Guardians. On the other side, we saw the White Sox strike out 14 times against Tristan McKenzie in the first game of this series. And while Aaron Civale may not have as good strikeout stuff as McKenzie does, he still is able to miss some bats this year. He's got 66 strikeouts and 64 innings pitched. His last start against the Tigers was a gem. 6 innings, 1 earned run, 10 strikeouts. So I do think we see a pitcher's duel in this game. I think we see a lower scoring contest. And a lot of the games that the Guardians have played in recently, especially with Civale on the mound, the last 4 have gone well under the total. Actually, the last 5 games have gone all under the total. Give me the under in this White Sox-Guardians matchup. Next up, we see the Cincinnati Reds taking on the Pittsburgh Pirates. We're going to see Zach Thompson and Mike Minor as your starters. Now, this is a game where we see 2 starters that have really struggled in 2022. Mike Minor 1-10 with that 6.31 ERA. Zach Thompson 3-9 with a 5.51 ERA. But although we don't back these guys very often, we're going to have to pick a side here. And I do lean towards the Pirates. I do trust their lineup a little bit more, especially against the left-handed pitcher. Mike Minor's giving up a lot of home runs this year, and this has been a pretty powerful Pirates lineup at times, especially a guy like Brian Reynolds. The Pirates are in the top 15 in isolated power against lefties in the last 30 days. The team OPS number is not as strong, but I do think Zach Thompson is a slightly better option here on the mound. But this is a game I'm going to be staying away from altogether. Just not a lot of value in my opinion. I'm going to lean towards the Pittsburgh Pirates here, and I'm taking them on the money line. In our next game, we see the Toronto Blue Jays taking on the New York Yankees at Yankee Stadium. Alek Manoah and Nestor Cortes Jr. are your starters. And it's tough to back the Yankees when they're facing a right-handed pitcher. Really, it's tough to back them in general right now. But, if these are the official starters, we don't have an official lineup for this one, so we could see a pitching change. But, Alek Manoah, he's got a 2.71 ERA. His xFIP is a lot higher, but as of late, he hasn't had the best numbers on the mound. He struggled against the Orioles quite a bit in his last start, but he's still 6-3 with a 2.64 ERA on the road this year, and the Yankees just can't seem to get anything going offensively against a right-handed pitcher these days, and it's pretty surprising to see. And you look at the Yankees, they're ranked 23rd in team OPS against righties in the last month. Isolated power numbers much better, but they're still dropping quite a bit outside the top 10 now, so I think Manoah pitches well, and Nestor Cortes is a lefty. The Blue Jays have hit lefties very well in the last month. They're in the top 5 in team OPS and isolated power. Now, they haven't had a lot of at-bats against lefties, so the sample size isn't the largest, but still, Nestor Cortes has given up 3 earned runs in each of his last 2 starts, and what was really concerning for me last time out was against the Tampa Bay Rays, a lineup that was striking out left and right against lefties. He only had 3 Ks through 7 innings, so I don't like to see that. He also gave up a home run in that game, and has given up home runs in each of his last 2 now. So with the way the Yankees offense hasn't done much, I think the Blue Jays are the better option here for me. Give me the Toronto Blue Jays, especially if they're going to be the underdogs in this game, and we're going to get plus money, but we'll have to see when the official line comes out. In our next game, we see the World Series rematch between the Houston Astros and the Atlanta Braves. Game 3 of this series. It's been a fun one this weekend. Jose Urquidy and Charlie Morton are your starters. Now, Jose Urquidy's got the better ERA at 3.69 compared to Morton's 4.04, but you look at xFIP, Charlie Morton definitely has the advantage there, and when you look at the road starts for Jose Urquidy, he's had 12 of them this season, and although he's coming off a pretty good road start against the White Sox, he has struggled mostly on the road this year, a 4.41 road ERA, 11 home runs allowed in 67 innings, only 40 strikeouts during those innings as well. So he has about a strikeout per inning at home, but far less than that on the road. I don't really love him in this spot. I think the Braves have shown they can definitely hit right-handed pitching, very powerful lineup against righties, and Charlie Morton definitely has better stuff at home this season. We've seen that mostly from him. And he's coming off a great start against the New York Mets, 6 2/3 innings, no earned runs, only 3 hits allowed, and 12 strikeouts. It's very tough to strike out that Mets lineup. To do it double-digit times, 12 Ks in 6 2/3 innings, very impressive outing. He's at a 3.07 ERA now at home with a 4-1 record. I like him in this spot. Give me the Atlanta Braves here on the money line at home. Next up, we see the New York Mets taking on the Philadelphia Phillies. No official lineup for this one as the Mets have not announced a starter yet. We should see Kyle Gibson going for the Phillies. And while Kyle Gibson hasn't been a bad option per se in this Phillies rotation, the Mets are just so good against right-handed pitching. And to me, Kyle Gibson is the type of pitcher that the Mets will excel against. His strikeout numbers haven't really been great this year, although he did have 11 Ks last start against the Reds. We know Cincinnati has been missing a lot, has been striking out quite a bit lately, so I don't put too much information into that. When you look at the last few starts, you can go back a couple of months for Kyle Gibson. He's been facing a lot of weak lineups. He faced the Reds, the Marlins, the Nationals. That's who he's faced in the month of August. So we know 3 bottom-of-the-barrel lineups this season. Then he faced the Braves, so a pretty good lineup there. But then the Cubs, the Marlins, again. So, he has had a pretty weak strength of schedule, you could say. The Mets being one of the tougher lineups he's faced in the last month or so. So I don't really like him in this spot. I know the Mets are going to have to go with the bullpen game more than likely as they're dealing with some injuries in their rotation. They also had to do the doubleheader on Saturday, so not an easy thing to manage. But Buck Showalter, one of the better managers in the league thus far, he's definitely got to be, in my opinion, the favorite to win Manager of the Year. I think he does a good job here managing this Mets bullpen. Give me the New York Mets here on the money line. Next up, we see the Los Angeles Angels taking on the Detroit Tigers. We're going to see Eduardo Rodriguez and Shohei Ohtani on the mound for this one. Now, Rodriguez hasn't pitched since May 18th at the Major League level. That was against the Tampa Bay Rays, and so he'll be making his return to the mound here. I don't think he'll go too deep into this game, maybe about 4 to 5 innings at the most, and I really don't know if I could trust him in this spot. I think it'll take him a few starts to get back to form, and the Angels' numbers against lefties are improving, especially in the power department, so I like the Angels to get to Rodriguez, and the Tigers' bullpen has also struggled a little bit as of late themselves, so I think the Angels' offense can show up here, and on the other side, it's just tough to back this Tigers' offense against the righty, against the lefty, and especially against Shohei Ohtani, who's been one of the better pitchers in the American League. 10-7 with a 2.69 ERA, top 10 in strikeouts with 165 through 117 innings pitched. The Tigers have one of the worst numbers, and you look offensively against those righties. In the last month and all season long, they own a 574 team OPS against righties in the last 30 days. That's dead last in baseball. A 99 isolated power is also dead last in baseball. 28.6% strikeout rate is the highest in baseball, and the walk percentage of 5.7, not dead last, but 29th in baseball. So this Tigers lineup cannot hit to save its life. Give me the Los Angeles Angels here on the run line. Next up, we see Zach Greinke going for the Kansas City Royals. We're not sure who the Rays will be going with. Probably a bullpen game here, but the Royals and Rays at Tropicana Field. And we know Zach Greinke has really struggled mightily on the road this season. At Kauffman Stadium, he's been a great home pitcher for the Royals, and that's why his ERA is only at 4.13, but on the road a 6.48 ERA with an 0-6 record. He's more of a finesse guy, a pitch-to-contact guy. He's not going to earn a lot of strikeouts. He only has 62 through 104 innings pitched, but the Tampa Bay Rays lineup is a lineup I believe that does succeed against those type of pitchers. They strike out quite a bit, Tampa Bay, but when they face those non-strikeout guys, pitch-to-contact guys, they've had success in years past, and I think they can get to Greinke for quite a few runs in this one. I like the Tampa Bay Rays here on the run line at home. Next up, we see the Minnesota Twins hosting the Texas Rangers. We're going to see Kohei Arihara and Joe Ryan as the starters. Now, Joe Ryan loves pitching at Target Field this year at home. 2.96 ERA with a 5-2 record at home, a 194 opponent's batting average, 54 Ks in about 54 2/3 innings. He has loved pitching at home cooking for him, but on the road, a 5.05 ERA. Luckily for Ryan, he's pitching at home here, and he's facing Kohei Arihara, who just hasn't had a lot of success at the Major League level this year. He was brought in by the Rangers via free agency and the international free agency, but he just hasn't really lived up to expectations. He got his first start in this season against the Oakland Athletics, 5 2/3 innings, 8 hits, 3 earned runs. He did have 6 strikeouts, which is impressive, but 3 walks, a home run allowed. I don't really love him against a really good Minnesota Twins lineup against righties especially. I think Arihara struggles in this one. Give me the Minnesota Twins here. I'll take him on the money line and sprinkle a little bit on the run line as well. Next up, we see the Milwaukee Brewers taking on the Chicago Cubs. Brandon Woodruff and Justin Steele are your starters. We know the Brewers struggle quite a bit against left-handed pitching this season. That is the case in the last month, and Justin Steele hasn't been too bad of a lefty in this Cubs rotation. I would say he's one of the better starters in the Cubs rotation this season. And you look at Milwaukee, 27th in team OPS against lefties, 26th in isolated power. Strikeout rate highest in baseball at 29.6%. That's all in the last 30 days through about 275 plate appearances. So I think Justin Steele pitches well. Brandon Woodruff, he was really good in his first few innings against the Dodgers his last start, but then he got into a little bit of issue with the pitch count, gave up a couple home runs, and that's where we've seen Woodruff really struggle in his career and this season. It's the home run ball. He's now given up 4 home runs in his last 12 innings, and the Chicago Cubs' numbers against right-handed pitching in the last month are actually not too bad. You look at their isolated power ranking, top 10 in the league and ranked 7th right now in the last month, and they're 8th in team OPS. So, I think the Chicago Cubs lineup can get a few runs on Woodruff, maybe via the long ball, and that might be enough for a run line cover. The Brewers are favorites here on the road. I think I think this game should be a little bit closer to a even price, but I think we're getting some value here. I'll sprinkle some on the money line with Chicago, and I'm going to take the run line plus the 1.5 as well. Next up, we see the San Francisco Giants taking on the Colorado Rockies. We're going to see Jacob Junis and Kyle Freeland on the mound for this one. Now, Jacob Junis is coming off a good start against the D-backs, but before that, he got shelled by the San Diego Padres in 2 1/3 innings, giving up 7 hits, 6 earned runs. He's been a little bit inconsistent for the Giants this year, and it's going to be his first start at Coors Field in quite some time. I don't really like it for him. I think the Rockies have proven they are improving their numbers against right-handed pitching at home and on the road as well, and I think the Rockies will find plenty of runs on Unison. I think they'll be able to get to the Giants' bullpen. It's been one of the worst bullpens in baseball in the last month or so, and I think Colorado puts up a fight here offensively. On the other side, the Giants definitely hit lefties better than righties. That's been the case basically all season long and in the last 30 days. While the Giants have struggled against righties, against lefties, they're still in the top 10 in team OPS. And Kyle Freeland's got a home ERA at Coors Field at 6 right now, giving up plenty of home runs and a high opponent's batting average. I think at Coors Field here, we know it's the most hitter-friendly park in baseball. I think we see a typical Coors Field over with 2 struggling bullpens and 2 starting pitchers that I don't really trust here. Give me the over in this Rockies-Giants matchup. Next up, we see the Seattle Mariners taking on the Oakland Athletics. We're going to see J.P. Sears for Oakland and Luis Castillo for the Mariners. And, J.P. Sears was acquired by the A's in the Yankee trade for Frankie Montas. And I have to say, J.P. Sears has had a lot more success on the mound than Montas has with the Yankees thus far. It's been limited time, and I do think Sears is going to regress quite a bit, and that's why I do like the Mariners. But it is funny to see in his first 10 1/3 with his new club, giving up only 2 earned runs. So pitching pretty well for Oakland. He's got a 4-0 record now in the year, but I do think he struggles quite a bit in this one. He is a left-handed pitcher, and the Mariners do hit lefties quite well this season. And you look at the numbers for Sears in those 10 innings, like I said, he only two earned runs, but 3 walks and 5 strikeouts, so a pretty high walk rate, pretty low strikeout rate. That's where I worry quite a bit. In those starts, he faced the Angels and Rangers, so not the strongest of lineups. The Rangers, a little bit better of an offense in Los Angeles, but the Mariners, they already showed in the first game of this series that their offense is here to play. The A's have not played well at home this season, and I think the Mariners take it to a mirror. Luis Castillo has been fantastic. He was great with the Reds. He's been good with his new club. Give me the Seattle Mariners here on the run line. Next up, we see the Miami Marlins taking on the Los Angeles Dodgers. Sandy Alcantara and Ryan Pepiot are your projected starters. This is a really tough game in my opinion. Sandy Alcantara has been one of the better pitchers in the National League. However, the last time he was at Dodger Stadium, he got shelled. It was one of the worst starts of his career. On the other side, Ryan Pepiot is a volatile guy. He strikes out a lot of batters. He's got 29 Ks in 25 innings. He's had 10 Ks in his last 9 innings. However, he's allowed 20 walks this season, including 8 in his last 9 innings and 4 home runs in those 2 starts as well. So, he's facing a pretty weak lineup here in Miami, and that's the big thing for me. They're ranked 28th in team OPS and isolated power against those righties in the last month. And although their strikeout rate isn't the highest against righties, especially when you compare it against lefties, they strike out a ton. I still think Miami has a problem here offensively. I think Pepiot, this is a really good spot for him to kind of have a breakout performance, you could say. Against the Pirates, another weak lineup. He went 3 innings, no earned runs, 3 strikeouts. So you could say they're a similar lineup this season. I think Pepiot delivers here about 4 to 5 good innings for Los Angeles. And we know this bullpen has been really good this season as well. Sandy Alcantara, the Dodgers hit righties so well this year, so it's really tough to fade the Dodgers offense, even against the best pitchers in the league. Now, we saw Corbin Burns dominate the Dodgers, so it wouldn't be surprising to see Alcantara pitch well here, but just to kind of isolate this Marlins lineup against Pepio, which I do think Pepio has a good advantage here, I'm going to take the Miami Marlins team total under for this game. I'm going to take it under 3 runs in this one, so give me the Miami Marlins team total under. Next up, we see the St. Louis Cardinals taking on the Arizona Diamondbacks. We're going to see Jose Quintana and Merrill Kelly as your starters. I like the Cardinals here on the money line. You look at Jose Quintana pitching well with his new club. He's had 3 good starts with the Cardinals. Against the Cubs, 6 innings, 1 earned run, 7 strikeouts. Against the Rockies at Coors Field, a pretty tough spot. 6 innings, 2 earned runs, 6 strikeouts. And then he had to face the same lineup twice, back-to-back, in the Rockies again at home. And we know when you face the same lineup twice or multiple times in the last month or so, it's tough to face them. And the lineup, it definitely has the advantage there. So he pitched well in that one as well. 5 innings, 2 earned runs. So I like Quintana here. The Diamondbacks numbers against lefties, 23rd in team OPS and 17th in isolated power. So well outside the league average. And the Cardinals, they're crushing right-handed pitching. They're crushing left-handed pitching. Their offense has just been very good in general. And Merrill Kelly's numbers at home, not as good as on the road, especially when you look at opponents' batting average, giving up a lot more traffic on the base pad. So give me the St. Louis Cardinals here on the money line. Next up, we see the Washington Nationals taking on the San Diego Padres. 2 lefties on the mound for this one, Patrick Corbin and Sean Manaea. Now, the Padres' numbers against lefties haven't been good at all, but neither has Patrick Corbin. And you look at the numbers for Corbin, 4 earned runs at least in each of his last 5 starts. There's been plenty of times where he hasn't even been able to get out of the first inning in games. And actually, those 4 earned run streak, that's 7 straight games. So he has struggled no matter who he's faced. The Braves, the Diamondbacks, the Dodgers, the Mets, the Phillies, the Cubs. You name it, he's given up earned runs, he's given up home runs, he's walking batters, and I think the Padres will get to him here. But on the other side, Sean Manaea hasn't pitched well himself. He's given up a lot of home runs this year, already 21 home runs allowed in 123 innings pitched. He has good strikeout stuff, but he's given up at least 2 home runs in 3 of his last 5 starts, and that includes a start against the Miami Marlins. We know the Marlins don't hit lefties very well, so that is surprising to see from Manaea. I think he gives up a few runs in this one as well, and I think we get over this total. Give me the over in the Padres-Nationals ballgame. And in our final game of the night, we see your Sunday Night Baseball contest on ESPN. Nick Pivetta and Dean Kremer, the starters for this Red Sox-Orioles clash. And I wish that first game of the series could have been in the Sunday Night Baseball contest. What a game that was. If you love offense, you might want to go back and watch the highlights. A 15-10 Orioles win where the lead was just back and forth. But we're going to see Pivetta and Kremer, and I honestly think we could see a similar type of game. I wouldn't say as high scoring, but I do lean towards the over. Both pitchers not really in love with this year, but I do trust Dean Kremer just a little bit more, and I also trust the Orioles' bats and their bullpen more. So I'm going to take Baltimore here on the money line. The Orioles have been impressive, especially at Camden Yards this year, and I think this is a type of a must-win kind of game against a struggling rival that you've already shown that you can beat plenty of times this season. I think the Orioles have them right where they want them, and Nick Pivetta has been inconsistent. He struggled at the beginning of the year. He sharpened it up. Now he's struggling quite a bit recently, so I don't like him here. I know he pitched well in his last start against the Pirates, but you're not facing the Pirates here. You're facing one of the top or hotter lineups in baseball against righties. Top 7 in team OPS against righties in the last month. Top 15 in isolated power. Give me the Baltimore Orioles here on the money line to end the night. And that's it. Those are the games for Sunday, August 21st. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. And don't forget to put your baseball picks in the comment section below. Again, if you're looking for my best bets, you can find those at Pick Dawgz Premium. As always, this is Ron Romanelli. Good luck.